Even though the Directorate of Public Prosecutions has the power to take over and continue criminal proceedings instituted by a private individual or authority under Article 120 of the Constitution, the move usually leaves more questions than answers, especially when the DPP loses interest in the case. Some of the cases that were taken over and later disposed of by the DPP for lack of interest include Dr. Kizza Besigye's treason case, Robert Kyagulanyi's academic documents case, and recently the Pastor Bugingo bigamy case, leaving the public wondering what criteria the DPP follows in taking on some of the said cases or even losing interest in some. Legal experts explain circumstances under which the different cases are taken over by the DPP, including matters of public interest.
First, to determine whether a case is worthy of prosecution. Second, where there is abuse of the power, the right, and discretion to prosecute by a private individual or authority. Third, where there is abuse of court process. Fourth, where there is abuse of the private prosecution. And it is also generally considered safer for the Director of Public Prosecutions or the Office of the DPP to prosecute matters that are notorious, serious, important, or difficult.
The DPP, being a specialized office that does prosecutions, they look at the bigger picture and know that this privately handled matter, private prosecution, is either not in public interest or it's likely to offend public interest.
Because the cases are taken over from private prosecutors, the Office of the DPP says the private lawyers whose cases have been taken over are often allowed to be part of the proceedings should the DPP choose to continue with the case.
The lawyers are allowed to be part of the proceedings. They usually appear on watching brief, so we work together.
Among the criteria that the DPP follows before a case is taken over is the presence of sufficient evidence to prosecute a case. However, even with the many different conditions in place, most cases taken over are discontinued after the DPP loses interest in further prosecuting them, sometimes due to insufficient evidence.
That's one. Two, it could be in public interest that the case be discontinued, or in the interest of justice.
And the DPP says this evidence is not enough or changes the whole set of facts by which we went to court. So it's not necessary for us to go ahead and prosecute this matter.
Legal experts wonder, however, if all due diligence is followed before cases are taken over. Fiona Wall, President Uganda Law Society, tasks the DPP to always offer proper explanation as to why they may choose to discontinue the prosecution of these cases.
So when they take on these cases, I think it would be good for them to let us to explain why the cases are being taken on. And if one of the reasons is that it's a strategic case and they have assessed and they find that this is a case that's worth prosecuting, then they would really have to explain why they're losing interest.
But what are the implications in cases where a government loses interest in the case? Deputy Attorney General Jackson Kafuzi says a figure cannot be put on how much government owes to individuals whose cases have been dropped by the DPP alone, because many of the aggrieved cases would be against the different spheres of government.
Yes, we have a number of cases which we are handling. But they come from several spheres, not the DPP per se. Actually, the DPP, those are very, very few.
Fiona Wall says whichever direction the DPP may choose to go, government should be able to account for the funds that have been sunk into the prosecution of these cases.
There are state prosecutors, there are investigators, CID, all these people that are involved. This is money. So if this case is suddenly abandoned, how are we accounting for all the money we have sunk into these investigations, into these,
Legal experts have blamed the view that once the DPP takes over, it's over on the Fourth Estate, which they say focuses more on the dramatic cases.
Because the Fourth Estate only pays attention to politically attractive cases or to the dramatic cases or to the gruesome murders and things like that. And there are a lot of cases that are going on in court that are being successfully prosecuted, and nobody is getting the eye on that, and yet that could have a deterrent effect.
Linda Ndumwami, NBS Live at 9.